Hello everyone, X-Forts here, and along with this week's new episode of JoJo, we also got a new opening entitled Great Days. So let's go ahead and analyze it. The opening kicks off with a sequence of the letters spelling out JoJo along with a synchronized drum beat. The first J is made up of Josuke and Okuyasu, the O of Koichi and the evolution of his stand echoes including Act 1, 2, and 3, the next J made up of Yukako, and the last O of Joseph and Jotaro back to back with Shizuka Joestar in the middle. The scene then shifts dramatically once the lyrics kick in to the words breakdown breaking and then coming back together, possibly a reference to Crazy Diamond's ability. And every time the word breakdown is destroyed, it reveals something related to Yoshikage Kira and his stand. The first image we see is of Killer Queen, and then coming out of the breakdown scene, looking out on Morio from the water, within each star saying JoJo and DU and 04. Back to the breakdown scene, the next image that is revealed is of Sheer Heart Attack, and then followed by that we have Stray Cat with the words SC on top of it. And then the last image revealed is Kosaku's head with his facial features removed. And while all of this has been happening, we can see Kosaku in the background getting closer and closer to activating his bomb, with Morio's stand users behind him unaware of what's happening. And then as soon as Kira activates his bomb, we see a flash of white and then it switches to the title screen. We're welcomed into the next scene with a foreground of water as we can see a silhouette of Josuke walking closer to the camera, and with each step he takes, he creates an after image. And in the background, there's a sun-shaped clock that has the words justice on it. Eventually, Josuke gets close enough to the camera and will come into the light while continuously creating these after images and show off a variety of fabulous poses, as he will then eventually turn away from the camera and greet Okuyasu, as then Okuyasu and his father come into the scene. Okuyasu and his father as well creating after images. We then switch to Yukako and Koichi creating the same after images as well as greeting each other in passing as doves fly into the air. There's also an Easter egg included on the street signs on the right hand side. On the lower street sign pointing left, we see Diamond as Unbreakable in 1999, the original date that the manga ran. And then above that street sign we see another one that says GW, which stands for Golden Wind, which is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, 2001, one of the years that Part 5 was releasing during. And this could symbolize that Diamond is Unbreakable will eventually be the past, and what we have coming towards us is a Golden Wind Part 5 anime adaptation. Oh my god, David Production, please. Then cuts into the next scene that takes place at Rohan's house, specifically on his porch. As the door opens, we see Rohan sitting at the table which he gambled with Josuke. And then as the next door opens, we see Masazo with his back against the door because of the stand cheap trick, and then we see Rohan behind that with a suspicious look on his face. And on the right side of the scene, we have Mikaitaka the alien walking horizontally on Rohan's house. And it appears that the wind would be blowing up from the ground as he has defined gravity because he is an alien. And as the last door opens, we're taken into an overhead view looking down on Morio. In the grass, you can see crop circles and also an Easter egg to Hirohiko Araki's company, Lucky Land, in the grass. As we move further in the scene, we're able to see the stand that is Superfly. And also briefly walking on the wire, we're able to see its user. As well as during this whole scene, we see an after image of birds leading our eyes through the shot. We then cut to the next scene where Shinobu wakes up and opens up her eyes and then immediately rests her head on her arm with a dull, depressed look on her face while she stares at a single TV. Eventually, Shinobu will split up into a bunch of after images and the TV will disappear, and then Yoshikage Kira on the left side opposing her will enter the scene holding the cat. Throughout the scene, Yoshikage Kira disguised as Kosaku's facial expression stays the same, but halfway through the scene, Shinobu's facial expression will become even more depressed and dull and she'll let out a sigh as she looks down. And then eventually Hayato is sitting at a table by himself where his father and mother should be. He's in between Kosaku and Shinobu by himself, as it seems he misses his old life and things are not the same since Yoshikage Kira has taken over his father. We then see Hayato walking with a very sad look on his face, very similar to Shinobu, and then eventually Killer Queen's hands will enter the scene as Hayato is submerged. On to the next scene, which is a little bit less depressing. We see a single hand point up to the dark sky and eventually it will begin to illuminate, as well as sparkle with vibrance. We then cut to some glamour shots where we see Rohan and Yukako shadowed out and eventually will burst into color. And then we cut to the same sort of scenario with Jotaro, Okuyasu, and Koichi, who are all showing off some fabulous poses. We then cut back to the single hand which is pointing up that has filled the sky with vibrant sparkles and color, and eventually we'll see the hands of all the Morio stand users join in. We then transition into a flashy animation with an assortment of shapes. Eventually they will all come together and we'll see the Morio town symbol in the middle. Surrounding that we'll have an outline logo of all the main cast stands. Starting in the top right and moving down, we have Echoes Act 3, Heaven's Door, Star Platinum, The Hand, Hermit Purple, and Crazy Diamond. We then zoom into the Morio town symbol and we see a flashy animation revealing Josuke, and the rest of Morio's stand users pointing up to their deceased friends. After looking up into the sky, we'll switch to a scene that shows an assortment of numbers composed of enemy stand users that eventually will spell out the numbers 1999, which is a callback to the year of Diamond is Unbreakable's original run. The scene will begin to zoom in as the numbers are masked out in black, revealing the next scene, which we see Yoshikage Kira. The scene appears to be taking place on a dark night, but eventually a bright light will appear behind Kira where he'll begin to turn around. We then cut to what Kira was turning around to, and it appears to be all of the stands of the main cast attacking him. Starting off with Star Platinum throwing a vicious punch, followed by The Hand, and then into Echoes Act 3, and then behind him comes Heaven's Door. And lastly, rising from the bottom eventually to the top, throwing a vicious punch, we have Crazy Diamond. And right as Crazy Diamond's fist makes contact, we switch to a new scene, which is back to all the Morio stand users' hands pointing upwards, where we can see a full body shot. And it's revealed that the first hand we saw was Remy's. And also the sun-shaped clock makes another appearance with the words justice, and it also has stands running all around the outside of it. And that was an analysis of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Diamond is Unbreakable's third opening, Great Days. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please drop a like on it if I occupied your boredom for a little bit, or if you just enjoyed it, and also subscribe for more JoJo's Bizarre Adventure content. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed.